Is that right, Christy? Okay, thank you. I know we're scattered today with different meetings and so forth, so I appreciate everybody being here. What you have before you is the agenda, about 8 bills. These are all the double referred bills. And so I want to get those out today. We'll have a meeting sometime, maybe Monday, Tuesday, and it'll mostly be, if not all, single referred bills. So if you have a bill, if you're on this committee, you have a bill that's been filed that has not been brought out, or you want to talk to me about, get with me and we can maybe put it on the agenda for next week if you have something. So with that, we'll start with number 1, Senate Bill 2415. That is the MAEP code sections. There is no changes to it. We're just bringing forth the code sections. You know, we've had discussions about changing from ADA to ADM, average daily membership. And so all this does is keep a bill alive, has a vehicle available just in case we get down the road and we decide we want to make some changes to it. I would like to add a reverse repealer to it. Senator Blunt makes that motion. Any discussion on the reverse repealer? Ready to vote? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, opposed? The ayes have it. Back on the bill, does anybody have any questions on Senate Bill 2415? Ready to vote? Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. That bill will be reported to appropriations. Let's jump down to item number 3, Senate Bill 2430. That is the state aid construction for school facilities. This is also known as the Public School Building Fund. This is something we've also been discussing. This just brings forward the code sections to see if we want to make changes to it and add some money. Basically, what happens now is we put money into it and it's committed to, we divert it to MAEP. And so if we want to reconstitute it, we can go ahead and make some changes to it, put some amount of money in it. This will allow districts to do the things to their buildings that they can't do with the federal money, the ESSER money that they're receiving, the CARES Act money. And so this is just the code sections coming forward. I would like to add a reverse repealer to it. That way you all know that it can't just fly through with any changes. So with that, Senator Blunt makes the motion to amend it with a reverse repealer. Any questions? Senator Hill? This is on the amendment.
Yes, it's on the amendment.
Yes.
Is the reason why we're putting this reverse repealer in here so that the work can be done in conference?
If potentially, yeah. If we get to conference at the end of the session.
So we won't know anything till it comes out of conference, basically. So all the work will be done in conference and not in committee,
and
not in regular committee.
And you'll have plenty of time to review it, and I'll answer any questions that you may have on it.
Okay.
I just want to keep a vehicle alive in case.
Okay, thank you.
If the changes to it are not something the committee wants, then I'm not going to bring it up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, back on the amendment. Any more questions? You ready to vote? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Back on the bill. Anybody have any questions? Okay, you've heard the motion. Title sufficient, do pass committee sub. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. That will be reported to appropriations. Let's jump down to item number 5, Senate Bill 2677, the Winona Montgomery Consolidated School District. And we do have some guests present on that. I see Senator Chassenall and her House colleague. We'll let him come over as well. We appreciate you being here as well. Senator Chassenall has requested this bill and we've talked about it, but I want her to address the committee on what this does. And I think she also has some guests present as well. So Senator Chassenall, you have the floor. If you could come up to the podium and talk about your bill or wherever you want to go. Senator Chassenall, we're going to have you use a mic.
There it is. Thank you so much. We do have some representatives of the schools visiting with us. Would you please wave your arms so they'll know that we have support from our administration. I have talked to Senator DeBar about this for several years, and Representative Oliver knows that this is something that is important to our area. We are in desperate need of a new high school. We kicked around a bill about 5 years ago that did not pass. But the time is now. We have new industry coming to Winona, Montgomery County. We have successfully consolidated. That was not complete at the time that the bill was first proposed. Representative Oliver and I both graduated from Winona High School. It was old when I graduated. And I presume he graduated several years after that I did. But we've recently taken the supervisors through, and they've seen the needs. We have new industry coming to the area. That's the reason that I'm begging for this to move forward now, because there are two industries, one that's about to open and an auxiliary industry that will be coming along very shortly afterwards. These folks are going to be either moving into Montgomery County and adding to our tax base, or they're going to go elsewhere. And if we provide them with an excellent public school, I believe that they will come to our area. They will bring their families with them. They will help our area grow. We feel like there are a number of reasons why this is a good time and a good location. We have 16th section land available at the intersection of Highway 82 and 55. There's a good road leading out to that section of land. It's a great opportunity, and I'm just hopeful that the committee will see the need for this and will agree to move forward with it. And I'll answer any questions that anyone might have, or Representative Oliver can as well.
Thank you, Senator. Does anybody have any questions for Senator Chesnall? Senator Bryan?
Why do they need special legislation to build a school on 16th section land? I thought schools did that all the time.
And that's something Senator Chesnall and I discussed. Do you want to expound on that, Senator Chesnall?
Well, the reason is that we're looking at funding from a variety of sources. There are there's a foundation that we've already reached out to that might make it possible for this to happen. I just want to be sure that this bill moves forward as we put all the pieces together.
Well, I'll be clear, I'm for whatever they want to do about building a new school, but I sure thought that schools could build on 16th section land, or I guess for that matter, anywhere else they wanted to. And if schools can't take donations to build a school building with, we ought to let them. We ought to go find all those people who are trying to give money to election officials and snatch up that money and send it down to the schools. It'd be a wonderful, wonderful bill. We can have a committee sub and solve an election problem, and this will too.
Thank you, Senator Bryan. Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Senator Chesnall was kind enough to visit with me about this proposal beforehand, and I'll, while I'm all for the Winona Montgomery School District to build the school there, much like Senator Bryan, I'm wondering why that we need the special legislation to do this. And I'm also wondering if they're requesting state funds to do this, as opposed to doing what every other school district does and either use their own funds or bond the project out.
Senator Hobson, if this bill goes forward as it is, it shows the goodwill of the legislature, and hopefully will show the support of the state government in Mississippi to help us. We all see different ways to accomplish our goals. I know you had mentioned a bond issue. Sometimes that's easier to do than others. But we are at a critical point because this new industry has come, and they will be moving families either into our county or into other counties. And we have a number of free and reduced school lunch students that, you know, we need help. And that's what I'm asking this committee to help us do, is to move forward. And we may need some state funds to help us with this. But I'm willing to look at every avenue possible. And I just want it to go on record that the Education Committee and the Senate thinks this is a good idea.
Which part? Definitely, I think the part of building a new school is a great idea. But, you know, as the chair of the Appropriations Committee, I am concerned because I'm not aware of any other public schools that have requested funding. Of course, it could be through the Finance Committee too, and I get that. But just as I mentioned to you, look, my own home county just did 80 million plus in bonds to build some new schools. And that was a local issue as opposed to something that would be a state obligation. That's my concern. I think it's a wonderful idea, and I'd love to see, I know y'all got some good things going on in Wynonna. I'm just concerned about where do we stop on the slippery slope of funding all of those.
Thank you for your concerns. I appreciate it. As you said, we've talked about this. Each county is different. We have successfully consolidated. That had not been accomplished in 2016 when the bill was first brought forward. At the time, we were considering putting two counties together. Since then, consolidation has been accomplished and the city and the county schools have merged into one. Because of the new industry coming here, we have a potential to be a high growth area. And I think that gives a special consideration and hope that the committee will feel that way too. We're at a point where it's critical. I have pictures that I could show you of the building, which I think was built, the new part of it was probably built in the early 1900s. The old part was prior to that. And we need a school that is going to accommodate the new families that'll be moving to our area. And that's why I'm asking for this consideration today.
Thank you, Senator Chasson. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Hobson. Any further questions for Senator Chasino? Senator Hill?
My question is, I guess the same as Senator Hobson's and Senator Bryan's, schools already can locate on 16th section land, and I haven't read through this bill. Is it just saying that we agree for y'all to build on 16th section land, or is there anything else in the bill?
Thank you, Senator Hill. The language is pretty clear and pretty general. We have a parcel of 16th section land, which is available, and I believe that's why it's mentioned in the language. As we move forward with it, there might be other opportunities, but I believe this is the best location because of the infrastructure that already exists close to where the school will be constructed. And it was in the bill in 2016 that moved out of the Senate into the House. But as I say, things have changed. We have changed. We have more of a critical need now than we did 5 or 6 years ago. And it's an opportunity for our area. And the fact that Representative Oliver is here, if he wants to speak to it, I hope you'll give him that opportunity, Chairman DeBar, and that we have officials from our schools who have made a special trip to Jackson to speak with anyone on this committee that would like to talk with him. I just want the goodwill of this committee as we move forward with this. And if we have your goodwill, I think we will accomplish the goal of building a new school.
Is there any further questions or comments on Senate Bill 2425? Excuse me, this bill. Senator Bryan.
Mr. Chairman, the chairman of appropriations expressed concern about a slippery slope. I've been talking to Senator Norwood. We've got a couple of sleds for him if he's having any trouble getting down the slippery slope.
Well, if we can get them all to appropriations, we can let Senator Hobson handle all of that. That's not going to be a problem for this committee. Any other questions, comments? Do I hear a motion on this bill? Okay, you've heard the motion. Title sufficient do pass. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. That will be reported to the Finance Committee. Thank you. Thank you, Senator Chasino. Let's go back up to item number 2 on the calendar, Senate Bill 2425. We'll go ahead and call that up. That is a bill that's double referred to appropriations or universities and colleges. And this is a bill to reduce the salaries of our state superintendent, our IHL commissioner, and the director or the commissioner of the community college board upon the new contract to $250,000. Current, this is something that I've heard different folks talk about in the legislature as well as in the public in general. And currently, according to our LBO staff, the state superintendent makes approximately $370,000, which includes fringe benefits. Our IHL commissioner makes approximately $420,000. And the director of the community college board comes in at the lowest at $284,000. All three of these are greatly above what our governor makes. When I brought it forward to the committee and let the committee decide what we do on this bill. But I'll take any questions or comments and at this point.
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Jordan.
question, is it official that the governor of all agencies searches what we're discussing? The governor's supposed to make more than who head these agencies? Is that a standard or the law?
Currently, the governor makes roughly a third of what these
I know,
salaries are,
but
much less.
is there, this is just a rule that no one can exceed what the governor makes?
I'm not aware of that rule. If
So it
such rule
just-
exists.
So reason we want to reduce it simply because the governor, they make more than the governor does? That would be,
Well,
the
I think that's one of the many reasons. that
That's
this
one of
bill-
them.
Yes,
and he's head of the state.
he is head of the state.
But would their duties pretty well be the same or, of course not, I know that, but that's the only reason I was trying to find out.
Okay, thank you, Senator Jordan.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any more questions or comments, Senator Norwood?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now, these are all state funds, right? I mean, we verified.
Most, if not all, are state, yeah, yes.
Say again?
Yes, I believe so, yes.
Okay. Now, coaches is not included in this, is it?
It's just the three individuals I mentioned.
Okay, just a joke now.
But Prime is not going to be affected, Senator Norwood.
This,
Senator Bryan.
Mr. Chairman, my father was on the school board in Avery at a time that the school provided housing for the superintendent. And Daddy told me they had an argument with the superintendent every year. Because the school board wanted to fix up his house, which Daddy said needed it. And the superintendent refused to let him do it. He said the school needed more things. So Mr. Heyman, who's from Vicksburg, by the way, went without his house being fixed up several years. I had the good fortune to attend Amory High School with a group of teachers who Mr. Heyman finagled, cajoled, I don't know, got them to come to Amory and teach us. It was extraordinary. I had a 10th grade chemistry class that was the equivalent of freshman chemistry at Mississippi State, more or less. My math teacher who taught geometry had an incredible ability to explain complicated concepts to us. I've got 20 years of schooling, as they say, and I've had lots of teachers. I haven't had anybody better than that. And my high school class wound up just normal kids, college professors, lawyers, chemists, go down the list, all sorts of highly successful people. Unfortunately, many of them living in other places. I think there are people just as dedicated today as Mr. Heyman was. And I'm for people getting paid well. But I bet you for $250,000, there are good, dedicated people, like 300 million people in the country. I think we can find people who would want to come to Mississippi to work at our universities, our community colleges, and our public schools. We could find people to do that for $250,000. So I support the bill.
Thank you, Senator Bryan. Any questions, Senator Hobson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question is concerning the part where it says the commissioner that's serving or the head person. Well, I'm just looking, starting at line 81, and then later on, line 149, the director. The way I read that is they will be paid the salary they are paid until the completion of their term. I don't know what their terms are, if they're 2-year terms, 3-year terms, 4-year terms. I suspect they're no more than 4-year terms. I don't think they can be. But is this proposal stating that at the end of their term, their salary will be reduced? So if they have 1 year left on their contract, it'll be reduced next year? Or is it stating that at the end, as long as they continue to serve, they will remain and keep the salary they have?
The intention was not to interfere with any contracts that they've entered into now, and at the end of the contract, the new contract would indicate the new salary limitation of $250,000. Isn't that how we drafted it, Sam? Correct.
So they would, at the end of their current contract, their salary would be reduced from whatever you said it was to 250.
Correct.
Thank you.
Senator Hill?
Senator DeBar, do you know how many years I've been filing this similar bill?
Probably many years, I believe.
Well, it's been a lot. And this is something that the public's been wanting for a long, long time. And I don't really care whose bill it is, but I'm questioning the fact that we hadn't had the wisdom to do it before now, but I guess I'm glad that we are. Because it's when our teachers make what they make and then they see that Mississippi had the highest paid state superintendent in the country, that's demoralizing to the teachers. And I've heard it over and over and over, and I've heard it from parents, I've heard it from everybody as to why can't we do something? And my bill was to let it track within 10% of that national average. And I think what you come up with is really close to that. So I just want to give you my support publicly for doing this, and it's been a long time coming.
Thank you, Senator Hill. Any other comments, questions? Senator Norwood?
One final question. Do we know how many school district superintendents' salary exceed $250,000?
This is only for the state superintendent, Dr. Kerry Wright, who's in that position. That's is only affecting that position.
Right.
Doesn't affect the local school district superintendents.
Right, I understand that, but I'm just saying, would it be a conflict?
I don't believe there are any at 250,000 above. I know there's 1 or 2 that I understand that are at 200 or so, but I don't know that they're above the 250 threshold. I could be wrong, and I can look into that for you to make sure, but I think I might be correct in that statement.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Any further discussion? Do I hear a motion? Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay, that bill will be reported to universities and colleges. Let's jump down to item number 4, Senate Bill 2443. That is the bill the standalone bill to remove the caps on the speech pathologists, audiologists, nurses, et cetera. I bring this forward to the committee. This was also part of the committee sub on the teacher pay raise bill that we sent. That's actually on the calendar now. However, just in case that bill does not survive the process, we wanted to keep alive a bill that has the teacher pay codes in it. That way, if something were to happen and we need a vehicle, that this would be available to insert the teacher pay raises and so forth. So with that, I'll yield for any questions if anybody has any. If not, I have a motion. Senator McClendon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. How was it derived to which employees were in this? say athletic trainers, say behavioral analysts, they're not in this bill.
Well, this is the bill that we brought up last year, what we passed, that was signed before the teacher pay raise bill by the governor, so it did not go into effect. This is why we just brought them along this year again, to make sure that they were taken care of.
Could we look and see and then possibly maybe have a sub on the floor?
If this bill were to come up, and I'm not saying it will, we could do that. You know, we could definitely look at that and see. I don't think I've read the numbers on the cost for something like that, but we'd have to look into that, and that would have to go through appropriations as well. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Senator McClendon. Any further questions? Do we hear a motion? Motion is title sufficient, do pass. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. That will go to appropriations. Jumping down to item number 6, Senate Bill 2685, the Mississippi Year-Round School Grant Program. This is another bill that deals with something that's new that we've been seeing a lot in our districts in the state lately. A lot of districts have transitioned to what we call the modified school calendar. Some are on 9 weeks, off 3 weeks, 8 on, 2 off, things of that nature. And the results from this school calendar have been tremendous, based on what I've seen in Gulfport, Corinth, Lamar County is doing it now. And so we would like to help encourage other districts to move to that. We will not mandate it, but this is a grant program where we're going to be looking at appropriations at the end of the session of maybe $2 to $3 million potentially. And this would allow districts who want to transition to this calendar to submit a request to the department. And it's and the amount of the grant, and these numbers can change if the committee were to see fit, or the appropriations is different than what we're seeking. But for school, starts on section 6, lines in 78. You can see if you have up to 5,000 students, it'd be a $300,000 grant. Between 5 and 10,000, 350, 10 and 15, 400, 15 and 20,000, 450, and then 20,000 above, it'd be $500,000. Like I said, those are just numbers now. It'll change depending on if the committee decides to approve this measure, and depending on the appropriation. It creates a special fund. It provides that they have to provide reports every year back to appropriations chairman, education chairman, and speaker, lieutenant governor, and just to ensure that the money is being spent wisely and that this really is going towards those expenses. And so I'll yield for any questions. Senator Hill.
On those that are already on this calendar, what positive things are coming out of those schools that are on this calendar? Can you tell us any?
I sure can. Generally, by the end of the 9 weeks, or by around Christmas time, or even in the spring, that a lot of fatigue, especially here lately, between the students and the teachers, really. And so the break is what I'm hearing is really good for them. The intercessions, those sessions between the breaks, are good to help those students who might need some remediation, or some of those students that are really doing well and can take some advanced courses, things of that nature. It also allows teachers to come back and teach during those intercessions, and they can be paid extra to do that.
So they're basically the same number of days. They're just spreading the calendar out. Like how long are their breaks? Is it different, or like what are they usually doing on the break?
In general, I've seen it's 9 and 3, 9 on 3 off. Some are doing 2 weeks off. Just depends on how they want to do it. And
My
no-
only concern of it is, like, some people do like to take their kids and their grandkids. I'm one of them
Right.
that likes to take their kids around the country when they're off during the summer. Just, and you really can't make a trip in 2 weeks to go all the way to the Pacific Ocean and back and,
Right.
see all the stuff in the country. That would be my only concern. But I think the fatigue factor and the fact that they're off different times of the year is a good thing.
And what we've seen is no district has changed to this modified calendar without almost unanimous support from the community, the teachers, the district. And those that have resisted, those people that have resisted going to it, have loved it, and they have indicated to me that they will never go back to the old calendar. And so this is just another option, another tool in the toolbox for districts to use, and we would like to incentivize that. So, thank you. Thank you, Senator Hill. Like I said, this is subject to appropriation, and so we'll go to appropriations if this committee deems it needs to be passed. Thank you, Senator McClellan. So, do I have any questions? If not, do I hear a motion? Title sufficient do pass. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. It will be reported to appropriations. And then let's go down to number 7, Senate Bill 2884, the Equity and Distance Learning Act. This is to build off what we've passed in 2020. This will allow school districts to use, where we recommend and highly recommend that they use their ESSER money as well as utilize. The bill has asked that the state appropriate $10 million to help them refresh their devices that we did appropriate back in 2020. MDE has been vital and instrumental in help crafting this language and taking out anything that we didn't need from the 2020 legislation. The reason it's a committee sub is we took out the emergency procurement language that was in there. Obviously, I don't think we need that now. The local districts do not have to do this, but I think as we showed in 2020, when the department was able to get their devices quicker than I think anybody in the nation, just about, and we had their devices, they were cheaper, they had a better buying power, and we were able to get this. And so this just allows them to refresh these devices. That was a question back in 2020 when we passed it. How do we replace these devices? And this is a vehicle for that. And so do we have any questions? I'll yield for questions. Anybody has any at this point in time? Senator Hill.
I was thinking that everybody got new devices in that last round. So I kind of question why they would be needing to upgrade them this quick.
Well, it's basically to do a study and make sure, check with local districts and make sure where they're at when they're looking at getting these new devices, if they actually need some of them. And so it's not mandated they have to get new devices.
I just don't think it's prudent if they just bought them a year ago to buy them again. So I think that there needs to be some kind of check and balance on that, so that they're not just buying it just so they can buy it. I
Right.
mean, there might be better uses for the funds than just buying new equipment because they can. So
Right.
that's my concern. I don't want to give them the green light to upgrade equipment that's brand new. But I understand, some may need something something technology wise upgrade, but that just is a concern that we're just buying to be buying, maybe. I don't know.
I understand that concern, and I've expressed that concern to our partners sitting in the audience from Department of Education. Pete's aware of that, and I think it's something we'll be looking at as we go
I just
forward.
don't like a bill that's going to lead to a contract. And I'm just saying.
I understand. Senator Boyd.
Senator Jabbar, isn't it also, many of these districts already had technology devices in places, and so they did not use their monies to do a complete overhaul of their technology devices.
That's my understanding as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Boyd. Senator Delano, did you have a question? Okay. All right. Any questions or comments? Do I have a motion? Title sufficient do pass. You heard the motion. Committee sub, all in favor say aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. And the last one on the agenda is Senate number 8, Senate Bill 2885. That is a repealer bill. We're just keeping alive the project or the program available to the Vicksburg Warren School District in conjunction with the Claiborne County Board of Education to establish an energy industry located within the state and Warren County and the school district over there, working in cooperation with MDE. They haven't been able at this point in time, it's my understanding, to get this up and running, but they would just like another couple of years to make that happen. And the repealer is July 1 of 2025 on that. Any questions? No questions. Do I hear a motion? Title sufficient, do pass. You heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. That will be reported to appropriations. As I said, if y'all have a bill that you, in the education committee that you want to talk to me about and get on the next agenda, please come see me and we'll discuss that and see if we can make it happen. So Senator Blunt makes a motion to rise and report. All right. See y'all later. Thank you.